Usually in the 60s it's said that people who do pot, you're usually the ones who smoke the wacky tobacco, but in the kitchen, doing pot is a good thing, because we need one of these in order to cook Artemis's. Whatever are you going to prepare today?
It is a Ramen Tuna Alfredo.
So this is another addition to our cheapy food going a long way to help you stretch your food budget a little bit more. And so, I understand we need a big pot. Okay, so basically, we have ramen, we have evaporated milk, we have 2 cans of tuna, and we're going to make a meal out of all this.
Yep.
Alright, let's see what we can make out of it. Now, can you use any kind of ramen? Or
yeah, you can use any kind of ramen.
Any kind of ramen. You
Doesn't
can mix
really...
them and match them if
oh,
you want
yeah.
to. First, we're going to start by opening the packages of ramen.
Hands are wet, so I got to use a...
Would we need water first?
I like to see how much it's got.
See how it measures first, okay.
The pot, the water will make it float, and
I suppose you follow suit with the rest of these packages. Put it in the pot, oh baby, put it in the pot, oh baby, put it in the pot.
And you just basically take out the flavor packets, because we're not really going to be using all of these.
We're not going to use any of the flavor packets, really.
Well, we'll be using like 1 or 2 of them. Probably just one. Since we're only using 1 can of evaporated milk, I don't want to over-season it. You know how potent this stuff is.
Very, very sodium enriched.
Yep.
Okay, so we have 5 clusters of dry ramen noodles. And if you want to, break them down. Or is it suggested that you do?
It's suggested you do.
Okay, so break them in half. Okay.
Reduces cooking time, actually.
Really? Also makes your noodles shorter.
Yep. Just kind of like real Alfredo noodles. You don't want noodles that are like 10 feet long.
But I like noodles.
But that's the fun part.
You go slurping all day, swirling it around your fork.
Alright. We're going to go ahead and add water.
But it's not spaghetti. This is a different type of dish altogether. This is a quick and easy Alfredo tuna special. And while Artemis is going over there to get water for the noodles, we're going to show you just how much water it looks like when you add 5 packages for the amount of servings we have here. But for you people at home, if you're only making this for 1 person, you probably only just need the 1 or 2 packages.
2 is preferred because that'll
yeah.
feed you actually like a couple of days.
There you go. Or you can make it like this and have leftovers for the rest of the week.
Oh yeah. We're just gonna go ahead and let it boil and...
Let it boil, let it boil. Let it bubble, let it broil. Okay, so that's the only thing that rhymes with boil. Okay, so while this is heating up and boiling, what do you say we explain the process of what happens next after this is ready to boil? Do we drain the water out?
Yes, after we're done with this, we're going to drain the water completely.
Completely out, not even touching the flavor.
We're going to open this can of evaporated milk.
That can there.
Can right here.
This one. The specific one.
Yep, this can right here.
It's very
specific
particular.
one.
Yes.
We're going
not
to
the one on the shelf, but
pour
this
it
one.
in place of water over the noodles. And then we're going to add 1 packet of our flavoring to the noodles. We're going to stir it in, mix it as good as you can. Preferably doing this, you want to remove this the pot off of the heating elements, because you don't want it to start boiling yet, because then you also want to add your tuna and mix it well, and then put it on the oven. Higher medium, it doesn't really matter, because what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to A, heat up the evaporated milk, and B, thicken it so that it becomes a cream. And it actually tastes very much like Alfredo.
And now this thing went beep beep beep, so
that means
that's for the next meal that it'll be hitting your taste buds. That sounds painful, hitting your taste buds. Ow!
That would be.
So
would that be
waiting for that
considered like
to boil.
biting your tongue?
While we're waiting for that to boil,
Food that packs a punch.
That's a big pot. So while we're waiting for that to boil,
Yes,
why don't we have Rune show the
Come over here and tap dance for us.
Show the preparation for his meal.
Well, you don't have the shoes for it.
True.
Yeah. So anyway, what do you say we go ahead and hold on to this for now, and then we will resume in a moment, and we'll show you the next step. So stay tuned for, what do we call this meal?
It's a ramen tuna Alfredo.
Ramen tuna Alfredo.
Noodles are nice and
I'm getting a nice close-up view. Boy, maybe I shouldn't stand too close to that. Yes, there's your noodles. That's nice and tender when they are done.
the heat has been reduced to turned off for right now, so I don't overcook these things.
And now we're going to take it over to the colander and drain them. And watch out for that steam, because that'll shoot right up at your face.
Oops.
Also would help if you have a nice level sink for your colander to rest in.
Yeah. That's fine. Colander.
I love my colander girl.
That's looking like a lot of noodles. I might need the other can of evaporated milk.
Well, we shall get it just in case you need it. And here's the other evaporated.
Yeah, right.
So,
It just looked like I might actually have needed a little bit more. Alright.
now does this mean that we might actually use 2 flavor packets instead of 1? Or
Actually we could use 2 flavor packets if I have to use 2 cans. We'll
There
see.
you go.
We'll see.
A little more of this equals a little more of that. The music of the kitchen. Can opener.
I always called it a doggy alarm.
Yeah, or a kitty alarm.
Kitty alarm, yeah, 'cause my dogs just shot into the kitchen. Ooh, can opener!
Usually the cats would do that too.
Alright, so what we do is we go ahead and add the can of evaporated milk.
Which is not really evaporated because, as you can see, there's quite a lot of liquid in that can. If it was evaporated milk, then it would just be a can of air, wouldn't it? Logically speaking, of course. I'm being silly. Evaporated milk is a special kind of milk that's prepared in a certain way, to where some of the elements in the milk has already been evaporated, leaving behind something that is safe to keep on your shelf, that way it doesn't go bad by not refrigerating it. And there goes can number 2.
Alright.
Yeah, looks like we are raring to go with what?
We need
Margarine.
thing to make it a little extra creamy.
2 tablespoons worth of margarine to make it a little creamier. Get out a little bit of oregano and add it for flavor. A little bit of spice there. Oregano.
No good Italian food is.
That's a lot of oregano.
I love my oregano, and it actually gives it the Alfredo taste. So then we take the package of ramen flavoring.
1 flavor packet. And just kind of dust that in there a little bit.
Yeah, you don't want to clump it, or else you'll get bits of
Clump here and
noodles
there.
you'll get bits of noodles that'll taste like.
And you're gonna add 2 because of the 2 cans of milk, right?
1.5 is actually 1.5. Because this particular flavor is very strong.
And flavor packet number 2.
All
Alright,
right.
so. Now
So
we
that's-
need to get these.
We're gonna go ahead and get it started on boiling while I open the cans.
Then I will get out a regular spoon for stirring instead of a spatula. Helps protect your non-coated or your coated pan. Now, should we stir this right away, or stir this in, get it a little bit mixed up, or are you
Yeah,
gonna
go
do
ahead
that
and stir it in.
Okay. We're going to stir all of this stuff
Drain it
together.
as best as you can.
Sure,
You want to drain
dissolve
all
there.
the water out of your tuna.
Naturally, because that is a little bit too excess of water.
If you get a little water, it's fine. But you don't want too much because you don't want to thin out the cream.
Exactly. Because you will be working with something that's supposed to be thickening up into a cream, and you don't really want to use too much water for that purpose.
But a little bit actually gives it kind of a nice
Tuna
flavor. I mean, yeah, the tuna adds tuna flavor too, but the water kind of helps.
There we go. It's all stirring
Go
in.
ahead and
Wow. Smell that tuna real good. Now adding the tuna. So this is tuna ramen Alfredo. with lots of oregano. And maybe 2 of the flavor packets have been added.
1.5.
1.5.
Mm-hmm.
1.5 of the flavor packets have been added.
Now, when you do a lot of these flavor packets, especially when it comes to the fall and winter months, if you're like me and you went to ITT Tech and had to sit out in the cold, mind you, I was from New Mexico, so it was always cold, but you'd sit out in the cold, and one of the things you didn't want is to be freezing your butt off. So what I like to do is I like to warm up a nice thermos of water and add a packet or 2 of the ramen flavoring, because the spicy ramen's my favorite, and take that with me into the bus stop, and I would drink that while I was waiting for the hour and a half and standing in the cold.
I see.
Makes a nice broth and keeps you from getting sick.
There you go.
So even the packets of ramen do not get wasted.
There you have it. There's a use for everything.
Waste not, want not. And we are going to let this come to a boil.
After we thoroughly mix our tuna into our noodles and make sure that we get a nice even distribution of flavor of tuna, noodle, and everything else that goes into it. The oregano, the spices, the butter.
And the average cost for this meal, depending on where you're from, is about $4 to $5. The most expensive part being the tuna. At least where I come from, the most expensive part was the tuna, because it was about 99 cents a can.
And the tuna doesn't cost as much as you would think, too, because you can also go generic with the same type of flavor of tuna for about 59 to 79 cents a can.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even 89 cents if they raise the price.
And your packs of ramen go from anywhere between 10 to 15 cents a packet.
Sometimes even
Sometimes
up to a quarter.
Up to a quarter. I mean, if you buy a 24 pack from the store, it'll run you about $5.
So altogether, this particular meal is probably about $1 to about $2 so far. About a couple bucks, maybe give or take an extra 50 cents, $2.50.
So if you're on a budget, this meal will feed you. I mean, if you make a meal like this, I mean, imagine how much that would feed you for.
That's going to feed you for a long time, and it's not just ramen prepared the regular way, because regular ramen is just too boring. So liven it up a bit and make a nice ramen and tuna Alfredo.
And this was actually a recipe I discovered when I was in college by accident. I was kind of between food stamps and was needing to buy about a week's worth of food, and only had $10 from dog sitting for my friends, so I went and bought milk, a couple of cans of evaporated milk. You add that with some water, and you've got a nice gallon of milk. So I bought a couple of cans of that, and I was making ramen. I'm like, I'm really bored with this ramen. I've been eating ramen for weeks upon weeks on end, pretty much all just nothing but ramen, maybe some hot dogs chopped into it. So I went and said, you know what, let's just try this. I added the evaporated milk, some tuna, I had some extra oregano and basil, and I mixed it in there, and I let it boil, and it came out to this nice cream, and this is what I came up with.
So sometimes even the greatest recipes in the world are discovered by accident.
Now let's look at this. See how it's going.
Could you switch out, say if you had like leftover hamburger or whatnot in your fridge for the tuna?
Oh yeah, you can switch over anything. You can pretty much mix anything you want into this as a meat. It doesn't have to be tuna specific.
And you can add vegetables if you want
You
to.
can add
as
vegetables,
well.
whatever you've got. I mean, this is just basic, college, typical college dorm stuff is ramen,
Yeah,
milk.
but how many people actually do have vegetables when they're in college? I mean, vegetables would be like a tomato sauce.
I mean, heck, I was lucky.
Mushrooms on your pizza, man.
Heck, I was lucky if I could buy me a small pack of little baby carrots.
Well, I guess the health nuts in college, because there are some just here and there that would actually prefer to go out and get carrots and celery as opposed to pizza and burgers.
Okay, it is into a nice boil.
Yes, it is. I was
We go
noticing that
ahead
too.
and reduce the heat to 3. We're going to go ahead and let it set.
And just let it calm down a little bit, so that way the sauce will be able to then thicken up and not overcook.
Alright, and we will come back to you for the taste test.
the taste test that should be out of this world. And we'll give you the first insight of what it looks like when it's done. We'll serve it, and we'll give you our honest to goodness opinion here in the kitchen of SonicBlu Darkfold. Come on back with us and we'll show you the results and the serving and the taste testing featuring Artemis and his Ramen Tuna Alfredo.
Ooh, I think that's just about ready.
Gimme.
Okay. Let that go.
I'm really eager to try this.
It's nice and creamed up.
Wow, I'll say. Now all that mostly like cooks right in there, but you got like that a little bit of excess out on the side there.
There you go.
Ooh.
Now, is there any?
You?
Is there
I'll
any?
See you later. I'm kidding. Never mind.
Is there any of the cream left in the pot, or did it all soak into the noodles?
There's
It's all
still
cooked
some.
in.
That's not
There'll be just a little bit around, a little bit extra, but it's mostly pretty much creamed on the noodles.
All right. Find a good place to grip the bowl here.
The bowl, this is hot.
This is going to be hot, so you got to watch your fingers.
Oh, I can make it hotter.
I know you could. Insanity sauce. But that would be hotter to the taste and to the touch, because if you get it on your finger, it'll burn you.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
This does not look like ramen. This looks far from ramen.
Looks like a spaghetti Alfredo.
It looks just like you got it at Olive Garden. Oh, hot. Whoa! Maybe I should have blown on that a little bit more.
Probably should have.
Yeah.
Or taking a smaller bite?
You know.
Hopefully the roof of your mouth is okay.
Oh, it's fine. You know something? This tastes just like Alfredo. And you found this by accident?
Mm-hmm.
How on earth are the odds in coming together with those ingredients to come up with this recipe at that very moment in time? That is amazing. But I'm pretty sure that they're saying the same thing about the hamburger, which was invented in Hamburg, Germany, by the way.
and was also an accident.
And it was, because there was a guy who was getting ready to catch a
The
chain.
creator of the hamburger.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And he's from
Because
Germany.
my grandpa's last name was Hamburg.
Well, I have to admit, this is pretty darn good. So you spend about maybe $2.50 on this entire meal. Nobody will ever suspect that you paid that price for something this good. Now take it from me, make the stuff at home and see how well you do with your own results, but don't skimp on that oregano, because that's what really gives it its Italian-like flavor and makes it taste like Alfredo. He is right in all of those aspects, because this tastes just like Alfredo, and I am very impressed.
I made dinner for my parents. I made them that, and they thought that I actually made a expensive meal for them.
It tastes very expensive, but
They
it
did not
doesn't
realize
have
it
to
was
be.
ramen.
It doesn't have to be expensive in order to taste expensive. And the best part about it is you're watching your food budget. And this definitely will help you extend that food dollar a little bit further. This is amazing. So try it at home, follow the recipes. It's very simple to make. I'm really impressed. And you'll really impress yourself, your family, your friends, and whoever you make this for. Because then they'll actually accuse you of being rich and famous when you don't have a dime in your pocket. Well, not anymore. Now you spend it all on ramen. You want to make this again, don't you? So, from all of us here at the kitchen, to all of you out there, if you're not cooking good, you're not eating good, but you don't have to take cheap ingredients and have them cheaply made. You make it into a nice exquisite meal, and you'll definitely be eating good. And we'll give you our honest to goodness opinion here on the kitchen of SonicBlu Darkfold as Cooking with SonicBlu continues with Artemis and the tuna casserole and the tuna ramen Alfredo. Okay. So then we'll come back with the results, and we'll be able to see what everybody thinks of it as giving us our honest to goodness opinion with Artemis and his ramen tuna
Tuna ramen Alfredo.
Tuna ramen Alfredo. Okay, and then when we come back, we're going to be able to go
TRA.
Messing up on purpose here. Okay, then come on back with us, and we'll show you the results and the serving and the taste testing, featuring Artemis and his Ramen Tuna Alfredo. Let's go get a pot, oh baby. Let's go get a pot, oh baby. Let's go get a pot, oh baby. Well, you can boil it, you can broil it, you can even try to broil it in a pot. You just get a little water and then you can boil all your ramen in a pot. Hey, I'm making this up as I go along, okay? Whoa!